70 million acres of wide open possibilities. Nevada is untouched. A place where the desert comes to life, the ground holds the history, and nature perseveres.
This just keeps getting prettier and prettier.
I visit Crystal Peak Park and the summit that inspired its name.
We have some fish spawning in the creek. That'd be the Kokanee salmon. We have a stream profile chamber where you can view fish underwater without getting wet.
At Taylor Creek, I follow the path of the Kokanee salmon.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, my favorite station.
Dessert.
In Reno, I reunite with outdoor Nevada veterans Terry Bell and Dennis Golden.
With one of the most spectacular views.
I'm John Burke. Join me as I explore the 7th largest state in the nation, here on Outdoor Nevada.
Let's say you're driving around and you just want to get outside, get some fresh air, clear your head, see some scenery, or better yet, you want to get the kids outside to go walking. I've got the perfect place. 10 miles outside of Reno is a hidden gem called Crystal Peak Park. It's got everything you need for a great experience, including the right guy to show us around.
Located in Verdi, Nevada, Crystal Peak Park has served multiple purposes in the past. In this age, it's a breath of fresh air and a reminder of the area's rich history.
Ranger John, nice to see you.
Good to see you, and thank you for coming out to Crystal Peak Park.
Now, am I in heaven?
You're as close to paradise you're ever going to get out here, let me tell you.
A natural storyteller, Ranger John spent over 2 decades patrolling Washoe County parks and sharing tales with visitors.
How big is the park?
The park is 56 acres. We're located approximately 10 miles west of Reno, Nevada.
And what's happening out here? What's some stuff that people can come out and do?
For a small park, we have a lot to do out here. We have picnicking, we have hiking, it's popular with dog walkers, and especially fishermen.
You got wildlife, and you got the Truckee River.
Absolutely. Truckee River is very unique. It starts off at Lake Tahoe and terminates down at Pyramid Lake. We got about 110 miles of actual river run.
And people can, of course, fish here, but you have a couple of ponds in the park too, right?
We do. As making ponds, I'd love to show you.
In the 1860s, this area served as a sawmill for the Verdi Lumber Company. The wood harvested here was used in the mines up in Virginia City and also on the construction of railroads.
This just keeps getting prettier and prettier.
We've been very lucky working with various agencies such as U.S. Fish and Wildlife. They're the ones that really started these ponds for a spawning area for the Lahontan cutthroat trout. But in addition, we do have rainbow trout, and we also have perch.
So you can come out here and go fishing if you have the permit?
Absolutely. From sunrise, sunset, anybody over the age of 12 and older has a Nevada fishing license. Come on down and have a good time.
During the operations of the Verdi Lumber Company, these ponds served as storage for the logs. Restored to fishing spots in 2008, the Verdi ponds now shelter Nevada's state fish, the Lahontan cutthroat trout.
One thing I love is old structures, and I know you know about this. What is this, John?
A little bit. This is the remnants of Verdi Glen Resort. This was primarily a lumber company to begin with. Well, through many fires, they finally shut down about 1924, 1926. And so the resort boom was really starting to hit the Reno, Tahoe area. And so the investors bought the old mill site and started Verdi Glen Resort. And behind us here is the old swimming pool. You see remnants of the fountain. And then back there is the old open fireplace. So they must have had like a large dance floor there. And you know, people would come here for the weekend and just have very fine meals, fresh fish right out of the river.
Wow.
Dancing, they had dance halls. And of course, it existed up till about 1938 when another fire swept through here. But it was also known as a divorce ranch, which is a big thing in Nevada history. And so it was very popular, not only with those looking for a good time on a weekend, but those ready to change their life.
When the Verdi Lumber Company closed doors, the town transitioned into a commuter stop. People would come, spend the night at the resort, have some fun, and continue on their travels.
So, John, I got to ask you about Crystal Peak Park, the name. Where's that come from?
Well, Crystal Peak Park is a common name for this area. There's streets named after it. There's park, of course. But as you look just right behind us, that mountain peak up there, that's actually Crystal Peak. It's a little over 8,300 feet.
And why do they call it that?
Well, because in this area, and particularly around that mountain, there's actual crystal quartz deposits. And it's always been popular for gemologists, but particularly in World War II, the government took over the site of this one particular mine, and we're mining the quartz crystals for use in the crystal radio sets for our soldiers.
So if I wanted to, I could go up there and poke around.
Absolutely, it's open to the public, and there's Forest Service roads and signs that will direct you actually right to some of the best mining sites.
Thank you for the tour, and thank you for all the work you're doing out here. It's just great, just a great day.
Thank you so much, and appreciate you coming out.
All
and
right.
We'll see you again.
I'm heading up.
Have a good day.
Crystal Peak may borrow its name from the shiny summit on the Sierra Nevada mountains, but this little piece of solitude on the bottom of the hill is a real gem all in itself.
What can I say? Ranger John has really piqued my interest. Gotta check this out.
In the 1800s, the solid blocks of quartz crystal attracted gold prospectors to the area. The miners didn't find any gold, but Crystal Peak remains to lure adventurers like me in search of Silver State wonders.
Well, we did it. We drove the 11 miles up a dirt road to make it here. This is Crystal Peak. And I gotta tell you, when you come here, and someday you will come here, you're gonna be tempted to immediately look down at all the quartz looking for a piece of crystal. And yes, they do let you take it home. But don't forget to look up. You will be rewarded with one of the most spectacular views you've ever seen. I tell you, every time I think Nevada has shown me all its splendor and glory, then I have a day like this one. Sure, I'm glad you came along.
In spring and summer, colorful wildflowers blanket the grassy lands at Taylor Creek. During the fall, the landscape changes drastically as thousands of Kokanee salmon embark on a journey to spawn at their birthplace.
One of the best things about the Lake Tahoe area is that there's always something happening no matter what age group you're talking about, from kids up to grandparents, and no matter what the season. And that's why today I'm at the Taylor Creek Visitor Center to help them celebrate their Fall Fish Festival. This is gonna be fun, come on.
Every year, the Visitor Center plays host to the Fall Fish Festival, celebrating a variety of Tahoe's local fish, including the main attraction, the Kokanee salmon.
I want you to meet Mike Ray. He's the supervisor here at Taylor Creek. Mike, nice seeing you, buddy. How are you?
Doing great, doing great.
Mike enjoys teaching the public about the natural and cultural history of the Lake Tahoe Basin.
Well, here at Taylor Creek, we're a very, very busy visitor center. We have thousands and thousands of folks coming through. We're basically the place to come to find out what to do in Lake Tahoe.
Today's a little different. You have a festival. What's going on?
Yeah. Today we call it the Fall Fish Festival, and just kind of getting people out and about, learning how the fish and environment, how everything kind of joins together. We have some fish spawning in the creek. That'd be the Kokanee salmon. We have a stream profile chamber where you can view fish underwater without getting wet.
The Taylor Creek Visitor Center branches off into 4 trails, offering forest, marsh, streamside, and beach habitats to discover.
You know, Mike, every time I come to this area, I'm just in awe, but to come here during the fall is really special.
It is. We got great color. I mean, if you look out here, we got, the greens, we got clouds coming in, shadows.
Now tell me about the creek and how it interacts with Lake Tahoe.
Well, the creek starts up at Fallen Leaf Lake, it's Taylor Creek, and it heads on into Lake Tahoe. And it's kind of a very natural, nice setting creek. It does what it's supposed to do, which is slow down the water, allow the sediments to settle, and put nice, clean water into the lake.
Taylor Creek runs 2.2 miles through Lake Tahoe. Along with Tallac Creek, it provides a wetland complex that many animals call home, including the endangered Sierra Nevada yellow-legged frog.
There's someone else around here you have to meet. This is Sarah Muskoff. She is a fish biologist. Sarah, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Now, are these the actual fish that came out of this stream here?
Yes, these were 4 of the fish, and we got them right upstream here in Taylor Creek.
Okay, so where do they come from? How do they get into this area?
Well, there was an accidental stocking of kokanee in the 40s, and they became pretty well established. And because of that, the state's been stocking them for recreational purposes kind of ever since then.
A landlocked version of the sockeye salmon, the kokanee lives in fresh water instead of the ocean. Salmon species are semmelferous, only spawning once in a lifetime.
Take me through how important this area is to them. How do they end up coming through here and why?
Well, kokanee typically go back to the stream where they were born in. They've been stocked in Taylor Creek for many, many years. So they're in the lake for about 2 to 4 years. And then based on some environmental triggers, stream flow, cold temperatures, changing light, they are drawn back to that same stream. So they travel up Taylor Creek. The female will choose that male and they'll lay the eggs. The male will stay back a little bit longer to help protect those fertilized eggs. And then they both die pretty soon after.
Although the kokanee will die after completing the spawning process, they leave behind a legacy. The next generation of baby fish, or fry, begin to develop in the streams before they make their way to Lake Tahoe.
So, Mike, besides the salmon, what other animals are in the area?
We have beavers, we have bears, mink. I think we saw a mink in the creek the other day.
Now, mentioning bears, there's people in the area, so what should they know about that?
Well, I know a lot. Bears are wild animals, and you just can't get close to them. You know, this is their property. You know, we're enjoying viewing them, but you just can't get close. So our message is stay back. You can get a picture a long ways back. You can get a great memory too.
Black bears see spawning season as their own Thanksgiving. As the kokanee die off, they head to the creek to dig in.
Have you seen any bears recently?
Yeah, we had 3 bears yesterday, a mom and 2 cubs, and they pretty much didn't care about anybody. They were off in the creek and having a nice day.
And it is a nice day out here to be out here with the kids and the wildlife and the stream. Can't thank you enough, Mike. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming out.
Today, I'm at the Bartley Ranch Park, where the past really comes alive. I mean, you can touch it, you can smell it, and today you're gonna be able to taste it, because we're gonna be cooking up some traditional Dutch oven recipes, and I have with me the world-famous Dutch Diva, along with Dennis Golden, Dutch oven extraordinaire and former cast member from old Outdoor Nevada seasons. Oh, this is gonna be great. Let's go see what's cooking.
Bartley Ranch preserves Reno's historic past on its 56 acres of trails, picnic areas, and horse arenas. The perfect setting for some history of our own.
Okay, big day for me. You gotta just give me a moment of celebration because I am with my old friend, Terry Bell, the Dutch Diva. Nice to see you.
Great to see you, John. Welcome back to Reno.
You been good?
Oh yeah, everything's great.
Okay, and also Dennis Golden, a man I've wanted to meet for a long time. Nice seeing you, sir.
Nice to meet you, John. It's been a pleasure.
Now, I know we're gonna be working with the Dutch ovens today. We already got the coals going. What is your specialty today?
So today I'm going to make some of the famous Bell sourdough bread. And we're going to finish it off with a fresh peach pie and whipped cream.
I knew I could count on it. You can always count on her. What do you got going today?
We're going to do the main dish today, John. It's a Cornish game hen, and we'll surround those game hens while they're cooking with fresh veggies.
Perfect. Now, normally I would say women first, but you got the main meal, so we're going to head this way.
That's okay. You guys go for it.
All right, check in with you in a second.
Okay.
See what you got, Dennis.
Dennis Golden grew up watching his father cook with Dutch ovens. He then found a new passion for it while hosting Outdoor Nevada back in the 90s.
Okay, Dennis, now let's start with the basics. Coals, how many do you use?
Okay, unlike Terry, I like to count the number of coals that I put on the stove. So I have 12 coals here, and we're going to put it. We have a 14-inch Dutch oven.
Okay.
And for approximately a 350 oven, we put 12 under there, and I'll put 16 on top.
Now, before you do that, can we take a look inside and see what you got going here?
Yeah.
Oh, those are beautiful.
We start by filling these Cornish game hens with apples, celery, and onions. Then we add some seasoning.
And then you surround it with veggies.
We do.
You got favorite veggies you like to use?
Well, you know, you can use almost any kind of vegetables, but I like a little broccoli, cauliflower. Here I've got carrots in here, and little potatoes. some of these weren't small enough, so we've cut them up a bit. Makes a nice, colorful dish.
Colorful, yeah.
John, before we put the rest of the veggies in there, we have a glaze that we're going to want to put on these birds, and that's 1 part vegetable oil, corn syrup, and chicken broth.
And you're just glazing that on there.
Right.
Are you going to reapply that during the...
Yes, we are.
Okay.
The glaze adds a new flair to the hens. It gives it a golden crust and an extra layer of flavor. While Dennis works on the hens, I check back with Terry.
Okay, Dutch Diva, we got the main course under control. What's going on here?
So we're going to make some sourdough bread today, John. This is going to be a great complement to Dennis's meal. You know, he's got all those great juices in there. We'll make a nice crusty sourdough bread that you can sop up some of that delicious juice with. And this is going back to our sourdough start that's been handed down in the Bell family for over 140 years.
A primary ingredient in sourdough, the start becomes more flavorful with time, so many families keep it going for generations.
So you take your sourdough start, and I will add a little bit of baking soda, a little bit of baking powder, and some flour. And in this one, I decided to use some fresh rosemary. So I just took some fresh rosemary and chopped it up and worked it into the batter. So you can see that this is just a soft dough consistency. So I've been letting this sit out just to rest a little bit, as you want to let your dough do. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to let you make a choice. Would you like to have little mini rolls, or would you like to have one loaf? Decisions.
I'm going 1 loaf because I like the idea of sharing it.
Of the crusty,
yeah,
and the crusty loaf. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So now we're going to take my signature product, you know, butter flavored Crisco.
One of your favorites.
Sorry, but I like the butter flavored Crisco. Might not be the healthiest option, but you know, it works for me. It adds flavor to the food. It helps my oven stay seasoned, which is that nice patina that's on the inside of the oven, and keeps them from getting dry. And of course, keeps my food from sticking.
Well, that's a good excuse, you know, using butter lard like that to keep
butter
your...
lard, yeah. I know, I hate that word lard, but that's really what it is.
But it keeps everything in good condition.
Yeah. So I'm just going to kind of flatten it in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the lid on this, and I'm going to let it sit here in the nice warm sun, because it'll actually let this rise a little bit before I put the coals on it to start baking.
So for now, that's all you do.
So for now, that's all I'm going to do. Put the top on, let it rise a little bit, and then we'll put some charcoal on it and let it bake.
And how long do you let it bake?
This will probably take about 45 minutes.
Okay.
While Terry has the sourdough under control, Dennis adds more glaze to the hens.
Okay, we're gonna put a little bit of more glaze on here, and maybe we could put you to work if you would.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just. Wow. Oh, put more than that on here.
Boy, I just don't want to mess it up. It is beautiful, and the steam's coming off. How's that? Looking good?
Yeah.
Glazing the hens a few times keeps them moist and the veggies packed with flavor. You know what they say about too many cooks in the kitchen. In this case, are there too many Outdoor Nevada hosts in one show?
Now, I got to ask you, for you folks who recognize him, Outdoor Nevada, founding father right here, on the show many times back in the day. Give me a story about being on the show back then.
We tried to combine on one show where we would do a Dutch oven segment and also do a whitewater segment on the Carson River. So I got some of my friends with their boats, and the idea was we would float down to Carson, camp out that night, and cook a Dutch oven meal for the crew, and then float out the next day. So it got off to a really bad start when my friend who had our charcoal bag on his boat flipped his boat. And so we had mush instead of charcoal briquettes by the time we got to camp, and no way we're going to do this. So I sent everybody out, gather wood. We're going to do it the old-fashioned way, you know. So they went out and gathered wood from juniper branches to sagebrush to whatever, and we used that for the bottom of our fire.
Thank you for telling them that this isn't always easy. A guy like this makes it look easy. It's not always easy. Thank you.
Well, that day it was a little more difficult.
By the way, what's with the apron?
Well, this is the apron that I wore on Outdoor Nevada, and primary reason was we had this saying, "Let's go Dutch." And so that was kind of our tagline for the show.
Dennis chose to film a Dutch oven story for his Outdoor Nevada audition. The idea not only gave him the job, but it also inspired over 50 Dutch oven recipes for the show.
We can already start to smell this, and that's one of the things about Dutch oven cooking that you come to understand is once you can smell it, it's usually done. Oh yeah, that's looking great.
You know what I'm thinking about right now?
What?
Guess.
Something sweet
Award-winning.
and decadent.
And award-winning.
Yes, we're doing an award-winning peach pie today.
Let's go.
Okay.
Terry's peach pie qualified for the World Championships in a Dutch oven cooking competition. So you know this will be good.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, my favorite station.
Dessert.
What are we doing?
So we're going to make a fresh peach pie. So this is something I've done in competition, actually qualified to go to the World Championships with this recipe. So this is really a dynamite recipe. Not only does it taste good, but it's a beautiful presentation.
Go,
So I think
go,
you'll
just
really
go.
like it.
What do you
So
got?
we're going to start with some fresh peaches. I've already peeled those and pitted them and sliced them up. So we have some beautiful fresh peaches there. Gonna add a little bit of sugar, although these are so sweet. And you can see that I'm really into measuring. So a little bit of that.
Do you like making the sourdough bread or the dessert better?
Oh,
Tough one.
that's a tough one because I just love baking. So I like doing the bread because there's so many different combinations and flavors that you can put in the bread.
Terry's recipe calls for a dash of cinnamon, ground cloves, and nutmeg.
It is an art. It's an art form, what you're
Yeah,
doing.
and you kind of learn what tastes good, you know, and you learn what you want to include, what you don't. We're going to put a little bit of flour in this too, because with fresh fruit, it does get a little bit juicy and sometimes needs something to keep it thick.
Oh, interesting.
So why don't you take a spoon
Okay.
and mix all that up.
Okay.
An award-winning pie needs to have a dough made from scratch.
So this is a very sticky dough, so I really want to make sure I flour it well.
Okay.
And we're going to take our rolling pin, start rolling it out.
And you made the dough this morning?
Yeah, I went ahead and did that early. I made it when we got here.
Oh, okay. You just whipped it
And
up.
it's just a simple pie crust with some flour, salt, butter, shortening. It has some vinegar in it, some white vinegar.
The Dutch Diva has an unconventional pie tin for her peach pie.
So this is the top of a Dutch oven, but it has, you can see it's fairly deep.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes for a nice pie. So I'm going to set this in there, and what we're going to do is when we bake it, we're going to invert that oven on top and put the coals
Brilliant.
and bake it like that.
Brilliant.
So it's very, very different and somewhat unique.
That's
Now
what I
this
mean
pie
about.
crust-
I know you're having fun, but there's an artistry because you're constantly improvising.
Yeah, so I'm just going to press it into the sides. Make sure I've got dough going up the sides. So let's go ahead and put our peaches in there. You
Really?
can just dump the whole thing in there. You can
dump
just dump it.
Just dump it. All right.
And then we'll move them around a little bit.
To top it off, Terry weaves the pie crust into an award-worthy lattice design.
So this is where
Oh, you're
kind of
doing
the
a cross
artistic.
pattern.
Yeah,
That's advanced.
yeah, this is advanced pie crust.
Do you find this to be an important tradition to be handed down in terms of Nevada?
I think so, because Nevada has such a great Western heritage and mining heritage, and those were two of the places where Dutch oven cooking was so popular, and the ranching and the immigrant trail. All of those things are important, so I think Nevada is a perfect place to keep this going.
Speaks to Nevada history.
In the mid-1800s, pioneers started trekking out west in search of gold. Many settled in northern Nevada, where they depended on their Dutch ovens to feed their families.
Okay, we're gonna set that right there on our trivet. I've got some coals laid down. Nice.
That is not light. You do have to be careful.
No, you do have to be careful with that. And this is tricky because the oven's inverted. So what we're gonna do now is just put a whole bunch of coals on top. Normally, I wouldn't put as much heavy coals on top, but keep in mind, I have to get the heat traveling all the way down to this pie.
Okay, so we got the bread going, we got the main course going, we got the dessert
The
going.
dessert going.
Now it's
Yep.
all just about visiting and having a good time with each other.
Sounds good.
While the Dutch ovens work their magic, we get to enjoy each other's company in the outdoors. Another great treat of Dutch oven cooking. And soon enough, Bartley Ranch starts smelling savory, and we know it's time for lunch. Worth the wait.
As you can see, we are not fooling around here. This is a beautiful meal done by two experts, and I can't thank you enough for spending this day with us.
Oh, thank you. Our pleasure.
Thank you.
It's been a lot of fun, John. Really has been.
You had a big saying back in the day on Outdoor Nevada. It was,
Next time, go Dutch.
next time, go Dutch. Bon appetit.